In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve have 3 children. In the forbidden books of the Bible, they had many more. There was the official Cain and Abel, but Genesis never said who it was they procreated with. The Bible seemed to have forgotten that men need women to create more children. Unless Cain and Abel procreated with Eve, their own mother, there must have been more kids. In the book of Jubilees, things get really bizarre. Adam and Eve have 2 daughters named Awan and Azura, and they are the ones who procreate with Cain and Abel to create the children of the world. And while this is happening, Eve, having already been tricked by the serpent, is supposedly procreating with demons as well to create even more humans. It's not until many years later that Adam and Eve get together and have their 3rd child, Seth. Popular geneticists believe the original human population was almost microscopic. Based on years of looking at human DNA, scientists have identified an original population of about 2,000 people, and all of these humans appear to be traced back to a single couple. These people lived somewhere in Africa, and they began breeding about 144,000 years ago. The science does show that, in all likelihood, the entire human race started with a pair of Homo sapiens, and that their descendants slowly spread out across the world. Adam was not the first human on this planet. The creation of man as outlined in the book of Genesis doesn't officially state that Adam was the first human created by God. What it does say is that God created humans on day 6 of his creation binge, and he rested on the 7th day. At the beginning of the next chapter, that's when God created Adam. That begs the question, if Adam wasn't the first man, who was? Some more scientific interpretations of the book of Genesis say that Adam was the first king, not the first man. Moving along this thread, we can see how the Bible says God planted a garden in Eden, and from there Adam oversaw the fields. What this appears to really describe is a king named Adam ruling over a place called Eden, some mysterious ancient city, and its great agricultural gardens. In the Islamic creation myth, Adam was created of all the earth of the world, and that was an explanation for why some people had different colored skin. They also believe Adam fell into the world and landed on a mountain called Adam's Peak in Sri Lanka, then walked to Mecca and built the first sanctuary. This fits in line with Adam being the first king of an ancient civilization. We can see similar stories all the way in China. The goddess Nuwa took a walk across the splendor of creation, grew lonely, and then fashioned the animals of the world out of clay. But she grew bored of the animals, and so she created something in her own image after catching her reflection in a river. In ancient Rome, after the gods separated light from darkness and earth from sky, they created all the animals. But they also lost interest because the animals didn't seem that smart to them. So they mixed earth with rainwater to fashion the first man. A shepherd in the desert plains of eastern Turkey came across a stone sticking out from the dirt. It was one of many stones forming an ancient lost city, one that historians say may have been the fabled Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve first resided. After the sheepherder made the discovery, news of it spread. The German Archaeological Institute in Istanbul sent their own people to investigate the site. It was named Göbekli Tepe, and it's currently one of the oldest archaeological sites on the planet. The stones are inscribed with totally bizarre images, pictures of strange animals, serpents, crayfish, and all kinds of things. It's also older than settled human society. It's older than any other city in the world. Estimates date the site at being 12,000 years old, making it 3 times as old as Stonehenge, and then some. Some guessed it was a ritual site for the slaughter of animals. Some believed it to be the world's first observatory. But there are some who think Göbekli Tepe could be the real Garden of Eden. This ancient and impossible place could have been where Adam and Eve lived in Genesis. Taking things even further, it could have been a place simply called Eden, ruled over by King Adam at the dawn of civilization. The Sumerians are officially considered the world's first civilization. They appeared in Mesopotamia around the year 4100 BC and thrived until 1750 BC. The Sumerians didn't live in only one city, but were a conglomeration of city-states. They invented mathematics, complicated writing systems, amassed a great military, and dreamed up plenty of myths. The Sumerians believed in a group of deities or gods called the Anunnaki. They thought the Anunnaki were the ones responsible for creating the first humans on the planet. Most scholars place the Anunnaki in the same category as the Greek gods from Mount Olympus. But there are others who think the Sumerians were onto something, and that they had encountered aliens from another planet who really did mold men and women from the mud like it said God did in the Bible. The Anunnaki were allegedly a species of humanoid beings from a different planet. They arrived on Earth to mine gold, massive amounts of gold, but they didn't want to do it themselves, so they used the very soil, along with whatever highly advanced knowledge they had, to create a race